If you work in or around Australia's vet sector and someone asks you right now to explain how the whole system actually fits together, could you do it clearly? Because most people working in vet know their own corner really well, but don't have always the full picture. And if you are new to the sector, it can feel like there are acronyms, bodies, and frameworks. So in this video, I'm gonna cover the whole Australian vet sector in one go. What it is, who the players are, how qualifications work, how funding flows, what AWETMES and USI are, what's changed in 2025 and 2026, and where things are heading. All updated with the latest data. Let's start. So VET stands for Vocational Education and Training. It's the part of Australia's education system where it trains people for specific jobs and industries, where the focus is on practical skills and real workplace competency, not academic theory. And it's genuinely massive. Most people don't realize how big this sector is. So we are talking about one of the largest vocational training system in the world. Now, before we look at who the players are, it's worth understanding how qualifications are structured in Australia, because this is the foundation everything else sits on, and it's governed by something called Australian Qualifications Framework. Think of the AQF as a ladder. At the bottom, you have got Certificate 1, very introductory, basic workplace skills, then Certificate 2, 3, 4 going up, each one more complex than the last, then diplomas and advanced diplomas, and at the very top of the VET ladder you have got VET graduate certificates and graduate diplomas. Most of the courses RTOs deliver sit between certificate 2 and diploma level, with certificate 3 being the sweet spot for a huge number of industries including aged care, construction, business and community services. And here is something important: VET qualifications are nationally recognized, which means a certificate 3 earned in Perth is same as earned in Brisbane or Sydney. That national consistency is one of the most important feature of the whole VET system. Alright, so who actually run this thing? Let me walk you through the key players, cause this is where most people get confused. First, the federal government. It sets overall the VET policy, provides national funding, and the skills and Workforce Ministerial Council, which replaced the old Coach Industry and Skills Council, now coordinates national cooperation in the whole VET system and reports directly to the National Cabinet. Second, ASQA, the Australian Skills Quality Authority. This is the national VET regulator as it 30 June 2025. ASQA regulated 3,837 RTOs nationally. It registers RTOs, accredits courses, and audits providers to make sure they are meeting the standards for RTOs 2025. And I will come back to those standards in a minute. Now, ASQA doesn't cover everyone. The Victorian Registration and Qualifications Authority regulates 116 RTOs that only deliver in Victoria to domestic students. And the Training Accreditation Council, TAC, in West Australia regulates 162 RTOs operating only in West Australia. So between them, ASQA, FERQA and TAC covers all RTOs in Australia. Third, Jobs and Skills Councils. This is the big one. The old industry reference committees and the Australian Industry and Skills Committee were replaced by 10 Jobs and Skills Councils, JSCS, which are now the bodies that develop and oversee training packages. They are industry-led, which means the qualifications coming out of JSCS are shaped by the actual employers who will hire your graduates. Fourth, NCVER, the National Center for Vocational Education Research. This is the body that collects, manages and publishes all the data on Australia's VET sector. They run the National Student Outcomes Surveys, publish the statistics governments use to make policy decisions and manage AWETMES. Right, so let me show you this on screen. This is training.gov.au, the National Register of VET, and I have searched for a qualification, the Certificate 3 in individual sport. And each qualification is made up of individual units of competency. You can see them here, some core, some elective. Each unit describes a specific workplace skill the student needs to demonstrate to industry standards. It's not about sitting exams, it's about being assessed against real workplace performance. And from 1st July 2025, a new training package organizing framework came into effect, shifting to a purpose-led principles-based approach to qualification design, moving away from the old long list of elective units toward more adaptable and industry-focused structures. This is the biggest change to how qualifications are built in decades. Every VET qualification belongs to a training package. This one sits in the community services training package, and training packages are now developed by jobs and skills councils to make sure the content reflects what industry actually needs right now, not what someone thought industry needs 10 years ago. Alright, funding. This is something that affects every RTO and every student, but isn't always understood well. There are three main ways training gets paid for in Australia. First, government subsidized training. State and territory governments fund training in priority industries, and eligible students can access courses at a heavily reduced fee or something free. The fee-free TAFE Skills Agreement, which runs until 2027, delivers fee-free training places in national priority areas. Particularly for equity groups, this has significantly shifted funding towards public TAFE providers and away from private RTOs. Second, apprenticeships and traineeships. Students work for an employer while completing their qualification. The training is funded through a combination of employer contributions and government subsidies. The government covers on average around 76% of standard training costs and up to 87% for apprenticeships. And third, fee for service. The student or the employer pays the full cost directly. This applies to qualifications not on the funded list or students who don't qualify for subsidized. For diploma level and above, students can access VET student loans similar to HECS for uni, repaid through the tax system once income exceeds 67,000 in the 2025 to 26 years. Two things that every RTO deals with every single day: AVETMES and USI. AVETMES stands for Australian Vocational Education and Training Management Information Statistical Standard. That's a mouthful, so everyone just says AVETMES. It's the national data standard that every RTO must report their student activity against: enrollments, completions, demographics, outcomes, all of it reported to NCVER usually twice a year. This data feeds into the national statistics that governments use to make funding and policy decisions. If your AVETMES data is wrong, your funding can be clawed back and your compliance is at risk. And USI, unique student identifier. Every student in Australia who enrolls in nationally recognized VET training must have a USI before they can receive a qualification. RTOs are legally required to verify the USI before issuing any certificate or statement of attainment. Students create their USI free through the government portal at asqa.gov.au, and it stays with them for life. Every qualification they ever complete is linked to it. So this is asqa's website, and here is something really important. If you have seen other videos that reference the standards for RTOs 2015, those are outdated. The 2025 standards came into effect in the late 2024, and they are a significant shift from tick box compliance to genuine outcome based assessment. The 2025 standards have three components: the outcome standards, which focuses on actual student learning outcomes and assessment quality; The compliance standards, which cover governance and operational requirements. The credential policy, which governs how RTOs issue qualifications and statements of attainment. asqa monitors compliance through both planned and unannounced audits, and the 2024 NVR Amendment Act gave asqa significantly stronger power to act against non-genuine providers, including the ability to cancel thousands of qualifications issued by RTOs that were not delivering real training, which is exactly what happened with over 25,000 qualifications cancelled since November 2024. So if you are working in or running an RTO, understanding the 2025 standards isn't optional. So that's the full picture of Australian vet sector, what it is, the AQF qualification ladder, who the key players are, including the new jobs and skills councils, how qualifications and training packages work, how funding flows, what AWETMIS and USI are, what asqa is doing under the 2025 standards, whether you are brand new into that sector or you have been working in it for years. I hope that gave you a clearer picture of how it all connects. That's all. If you want to go deeper on any of these topics, compliance, RTO marketing, local SEO for RTOs, SEO for RTOs, ads for RTOs, I have got heaps of content on this channel that is covering all of it. Go and watch and chuck a like if this helped. That's all for today. See you in the next week. Till then, take care.